Thanks for clapping, that's really, really kind of you. Prior to anything even being given. Incredible optimism. This is, I've never done anything like this before because it's quite... Oh, chaos is here. Set at a place at the table for madness, for what is a festival, what is a carnival but a space where normal rules are temporarily put aside. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Ah, nature will rise up again. The patriarchal chains fall off as the power of women rises up from the murky, murky gloom, and chair legs buckle in a moment and a man has to make up a whole new introduction. I like festivals, I suppose, precisely because of that, because like it's my belief that the systems that we live within, the social orders and manner in which we organise things, are, if not arbitrary, no, the opposite of arbitrary, they're deliberate, but they are not unique, they're not the only way we can live, it's not the only way we can see the world. Perhaps we come to festivals to feel this temporary suspension, this temporary relief from the normal way we live our lives. To be in Notting Hill during Carnival is to see a different place, to see different priorities, and to be here in this field. They call golf, don't they, a good walk spoiled. Well, these are the kind of environments that we would find ourselves only playing golf or something. I'm not a guy that's played golf, I'm telling you now, but just giving you the idea. Here among these plains, among these trees, it's possible to glimpse at a different type of world. This book I've written, Recovery, it's about how I got clean from drugs and alcohol using a particular system. And since I got clean from drugs and alcohol, I realised that the method with which I was able to get clean would work for other forms of addiction that sometimes aren't even identified as addiction. Gambling, we know about now. We know how addiction can help people's behaviour around food. We know how it can affect people's behaviour around sex. But now, technology, pornography, what I suppose I'm arguing is that materialism, consumerism and individualism amount to a culture where we are by default addicts. We look to resolve the way we feel by consuming in some way. We start to, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I wouldn't dare to dream to speak on behalf of anybody else, but like I noticed myself, I started to commodify human beings. For a long period in my life, I looked at people as things that I would use, somehow utilise, to my detriment and to theirs. So this book is a different way of looking at the world. It starts with substance misuse, but I think can lead to anything. Just to give you a quick definition of addiction, I suppose it's any behaviour that you are engaged with but would like to stop or change but can't. There, for me, there's a potential that could qualify as addiction. If you have no problem, as many of you evidently don't, taking drugs, carry on. Carry on. If the MDMA is working for you, the DMT, the ayahuasca, the marijuana, whatever it is, if it's working for you, it's working for you, and that's no problem. But if it, as in my case, it's an attempt to address some sort of inner lack, some sense of loss, some sense of emptiness, some sense of being inadequate and not somehow right, there is another way. There is another way, because I have a feeling that this is, if not universal, common, that people don't feel good enough. I've been speaking to people a lot, and it doesn't seem to just be me that's trying to compensate with the ego and material for some sense of loss and emptiness and isolation inside. It seems to be almost a part of the human condition that's getting greatly exacerbated by consumerism. So that's what this book is. It's a different way of looking at addiction. Addiction, something where we're all on the spectrum. If you've got a glaringly obvious addiction like me, smackhead, you'll notice it. If it's just you look at your phone too much, you're always looking at the phone. It's the first thing you look at when you wake up in the morning. If you have relationships with people where you feel a little bit obsessive, that you think people are going to absolve you or resolve you, your own personal Jesus. If you're looking for salvation in the arms of another, if you think a better job or a better way of life or the approval of other people is going to make you feel better, it ain't gonna. And I suppose the reason I'm writing this book, or I've written this book, it's all done. It's all done. I mean, I've got a copy of it in here. Check it. That's the book. called recovery, freedom from our addictions, because someone said, don't say freedom from your addictions, Russell, because that looks didactic, looks like you're telling people when you've got no right to tell anybody anything. And it's an important point, because what I've noticed is I'm not better than anybody, I'm worse. That's my qualification for writing this. I believe that fame would make me better, that money would make me better, that sex would make me better, that drugs would make me better, and each one of these false prophets I pursued until the jaws of death itself, and have learned as a result that it don't bloody work. Now some of my mates say, oh, that's just you pulling the drawbridge up after your blowjobs. And sorry if you've got kids in the audience, sorry. I think my child is hopefully been spirited away to a more suitable form of entertainment. She's got enough on her plate just dealing with the genes, let alone putting up with the inculcation and indoctrination. Let her find her own way. Let her commune with the moon and the stars and the trees and the rivers and whatever conscious forces it is that act as a crucible that midwife us from unmanifest to manifest. What is it that takes us from unborn to born? What is it? What is it that Richard Dawkins called memes? These repeated patterns that occur in people's minds, but half a century ago Carl Jung called the archetypes of the unconscious. Images and ideas recurring throughout time, limitless stories, as if there is but one mind that we are experiencing subjectively, as the late great Bill Hicks said. Yes, oh Bill, we've got to love Bill, haven't you? One of our prophets. So this is the, like, look, this book here, this is what it's going to look like. But in a sort of a terrible analogy for the nature of the material world, it's actually Frankie Boyle's book, My Shit Life So Far. Concealed within it. Because this is what's called, if you work in publishing, a galley copy. That means they print it out to try and get good quotes for it, send it out to people in industry, try and get it reviewed. It has this kind of cover on this one. Probably didn't even have the same name because I prevaricated, procrastinated and changed my mind about what to call it 1,000 times. You know, like when you're a kid and you've got to start a band and you go through a lot of names for that band and then you never even get out of the garage because you smoke too much weed. The band never happened anyway. So I suppose what this book is about is a self-help book, but not written by, like, see, I love that, like Eckhart Tolle, for example, and the Dalai Lama, but don't you think when you meet them people, not that, I mean, I know I'm privileged, I'm aware, you know when you meet the Dalai Lama, and you think, oh, give us a break, mate. I'll tell you one of the things that's annoying about meeting the Dalai Lama, I'm going to nitpick, but they won't let you walk on his carpet. Like, you know, he's got a special carpet that leads him to the stage. You think, they're going, oh, don't walk on that, the monks, not His Holiness himself, but the monks go, oh, don't walk on that, that's the Dalai Lama's carpet. I'm like, he's not going to care about that, he's transcended to a universal realm of consciousness, where he can feel the vibration of the planets spinning in their spheres, that can see that our identities, our cultures, our races and our creeds and class are retrospectively applied in a society that wants to keep us separate. He's not going to care about fucking carpet. And Eckhart Tolle, I met him and all. Well, if someone made a mistake of giving me Eckhart Tolle's phone number, I used it like it was the fucking Samaritans. Eckhart, I'm having a terrible day. Yes, what is it now? This relationship, I don't know if this relationship's going to work. Well, perhaps your relationship will work, Russell. And then you will both get old, and then you will die. Thanks, mate. Thanks for the perspective. I won't call again. Like Eckhart Tolle, he has transcended. You know, it seems to me, I'm not an expert on what transcendence looks like in a physicalised form, who would know? But he does seem to be pretty tuned in. That sounded like my baby. That's my baby. But anyway, so I feel like this book, it is a self-help book in a simple way, but in a way what I've done is I've described the way that I feel we live these days. I'm friends with Adam Curtis, and fucking hell, I'm dropping the names, aren't I? I must be feeling insecure. If you're dropping names, you're probably feeling insecure now. What people do on the outside, thanks, darling. What people do on the outside, I think sometimes it indicates that the contrary is a difference. So if you see big hard-looking motherfuckers covered in tattoos, give them a cuddle, they need it, you know? If you see a man in a Ferrari, it's like, oh, come here, mate, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Maybe in the next world, maybe in the next world. So what I feel like book is it's a self-help book, but written by a person that's flawed, very, very deeply flawed, not better than you, possibly worse than you, but somehow this program that I was freely given, a 12-step program, has worked for me. It's helped me. Like, I was a smackhead, crackhead, dark little character. I couldn't cope. I'm a fare dodger, shoplifter, pilferer, low-life scumbag. But somehow I was elevated out of that into a new way of life. Then after that, every form of addiction that a person could possibly cling on to that came my way, I grabbed it with both hands, I sucked the marrow right out of it. Sex addiction, I pursued it to the very gates. Pornography, anything that can make me feel different, anything that can elevate me, escalate me. I can't be left alone in the room with them marshmallow things that Marks and Spencer's do, where you can bite the chocolate bit off the top and there's marshmallow in the middle and there's the biscuit bottle. I can't be left around nothing. There's nothing I want to cook up, bang up, smoke, imbibe, ingest to make me feel a little bit better. And why wouldn't I? Because what are you continually told by the advertising device that's in your pocket to, like, you know, in fact we're on Facebook Live right now. Hello there if you're watching this on Facebook Live, or if you're watching it later on one of our many online platforms. Hello, and this t-shirt's available actually. We'd have to take it. I suppose, like, why would you not be an addict when you're continually told that if you get this hair product, if you get this car, if you get this woman, if you look like him or her or that, you know, then things would be better. So if you have a tendency towards addiction, that will be massively exacerbated by the cultural message that you can ameliorate inner pain through external means. That's all I'm saying. And I think in a secularised society, and I know we're in like the assembly tent, I think they do wicked things, them assembly, them Sunday assembly things. People going to that the mystery is alive and well, and like every single scientific discipline, biochemistry, physics, chemistry, the whole lot, they all come to a juddering halt right at the point where the most important question is asked: what is consciousness? What is it? What's happening? Why are we here? Why are we experiencing this? Well, in this case, because I'm promoting a book. But possibly because there is some kind of entity experiencing itself through material dimensions. I don't know, Yanis Varoufakis doesn't know, Adam Curtis doesn't know, nobody knows, but all we can do is tune into our own individual idea. Now, I mentioned Adam a moment ago, and it was because he said this: often the myth of a time is contrary to its truth. Like, so he says that we all believe that we're individuals, you can express yourself as individuals, be who you want to be, do what you want to do. Yeah, through what métier? Through the métier of consumerism, through what you buy. That's where your individualism exists. And if you really want to see how free you are, start looking at pushing some proper boundaries. I was once told in civil rights world, and respect to all of you that have participated in civil rights battles for gender equality and for the right to do whatever you want and express yourself, but I was told by a very prominent gay rights activist, civil rights, they'll always yield eventually, but when you go near the money, that's when it's going to kick off. So we have to accept that we live within prohibitive systems, and it's very difficult to externally alter these systems if we ourselves do not have some alignment or connection within, and this book is my attempt to explain to you how I believe, to a limited degree, and while flawed, I've achieved a kind of connection. Because if we think we're all free to live as individuals, it's likely that more than any time in history we're regarded as a blob, a market, as consumers. We are statistics. It's quite likely that that's how we're seen. So I wanted to talk to you. I've already blattered on at you about how I feel and about what this book is about. It's a book for tackling the problem of being alive. It's a book for tackling the idea that you're not good enough. It's a book for connecting you in a different way. And it's a very, very personal book. I write about what it's like to be trapped in my head the whole time, what it's like in here. I mean, you only have to put up with it for like 20 minutes. I got put up with this shit in the car on the way home. It's limitless for me. So if anyone wants to ask me any questions at all on the nature of addiction, or share something about what they feel about their own personal psychological problems, you're welcome to do so. Remember, it's on Facebook Live. Protect yourself, protect the people you love. Any questions? Yes, a human being there. There's a microphone that we can get to you. Who's the person that's doing microphones? You could all pass it along as a little team and not murmur childish things into it as it goes past. That bill's for me, not for you.
How can I stop drinking so much coffee?
Well, if you want to stop drinking, the question is, how can I stop drinking so much coffee? My suggestion would be, if you want to stop drinking, is it causing you a problem drinking coffee? Why is it a problem? That really sounds like my baby, or just do all babies sound like that? Is that the noise of a baby? So if babies just are broadcasting on one frequency, perhaps them tribes that just see all the men as the fathers are right. Maybe I should maybe that's a better system rather than the individualised nuclear family ideal. Maybe we should all like look after that baby. Although, probably not. Is that baby Romy? All right, Romy. Baby, you're ruining a pretty good speech. I don't want to be selfish. I think it's going quite well, Romy. Mucking it down. Right, so you're saying, like, what's the problem with drinking a lot of coffee? Speak into the microphone, mate.
I get like twitchy eyes.
Oh, fucking hell, that's terrible. You're out of control. Once your eyes are twitching, that's an issue. You can't even control your bloody musculature. You're having spasms. You're having caffeine spasms. Well, how many are you having a day?
Like 3, sometimes 4.
You're a pussy. Step it up. No, I'm mucking around. I'm mucking around. If you wanted to stop drinking coffee, you've got to be prepared to front out the headaches. Now, this would be the system that I was taught, freely given. 1, admit you've got a problem with coffee. 2, believe it's possible to not drink coffee. 3, ask for help in solving the problem of drinking coffee. That means talk to other people that have given up drinking coffee and believe in the version of yourself that don't drink coffee. I think it's possible for you to get over it. Don't sort of start replacing it with crystal meth, not with your twitchy eyes. You'll be dead in a ditch in an hour. Won't make it through the night. I think if you do have a problem with it, 1, admit you want to change. 2, believe it's possible to change. 3, ask for help in changing. Is it doing something for you that's positive, coffee?
It's me up.
Right, yeah, you're in the Wide Awake Club. I mean, I'm a lover of the coffee, but people tell me that if you go through the headache days, you know, the 48, I can't deal with the headaches. I can't take the headaches, the caffeine withdrawal headaches. This is what I mean about it. Now, the caffeine battle, I've not gone to that front yet. Tobacco, gone. Marijuana, gone. Heroin, gone. Crack, gone. Porn, gone. Objectifying women, gone. Now, it's not like I'm like looking at these things as, oh, it's a shame I don't objectify people anymore. It's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. But like but caffeine isn't. Like, I'm not hard enough yet for that battle. But I do believe it's possible. Who here? 1 second before. 1 second. I'm just going to ask. I always say ask. I'm just going to ask. Who has given up caffeine before? Put up your hand. Look at all these people that know how to do it. Right. So one of you lot. What's your name, mate? Z.
Katie.
Oh, Katie. Fair enough. Why not? Now listen. So one of them people that's give up coffee, who's prepared to just talk to Katie about how they gave up coffee? Oh, look at that lovely person from another dimension. What's your name? Beth.
Yeah.
Beth and Katie have a little chat afterwards about techniques to deal with caffeine. All right, brilliant. Who else got a question for me? You've got a lot of character. We're going to do you next. Because I'm taking and I'm ethnically judging the crowd as I go round. We're going to get every hue of the rainbow will be represented, every possible gender persuasion. 1 sec, what are you saying, loudmouth, human here?
Addiction to approval.
Oh, you're addicted to other people's approval.
I'm just wondering what that. Yeah, any thoughts on that? Yeah,
What's
I
your
am
name?
definitely. Daisy.
Daisy, you're an impeccable, beautiful human. Want other people to feel that make you feel okay. Why do you think you're like that? Give Daisy a microphone before she goes mad with her lust for approval and takes us all hostage.
There we go. Hello.
When you say that, what do you mean approval? Give us an
I just
example.
think, what for me personally, it's like, how do I explain that? So like, wanting to be loved all the time, or wanting to be liked, or wanting to be noticed, or feeling like, yeah. And I feel like a lot of people do, and I definitely do.
Here I can help. Because here I am on the frontiers of narcissism, self-involvement and the need for other people's approval. Now the reason I suppose I do it, it's just interesting because probably I've heard it said that wherever you have a defect of character there is likely an attribute waiting to get out. It's probably telling you something. Maybe you've got a lot to give, Daisy. Maybe you've got a lot to give. That's my suspicion about you. But like with me is like if I think that other people's approval can make me feel better, I'll always feel disappointed. It never ever can unless I feel connected inside and unless I feel valuable inside, and I can only do that. I can only feel that if I do esteemable things, if I do good things for other people. Otherwise I start to feel a bit worthless and lousy. So if I were you, mate, I would shift my focus to do it. Like every time you think this thing, I want approval, try it in that time, do things for others. Like, and this is the hardcore elite level, doing things for others that won't get found out. Oh, that's hard. That's next level. Oh. So try that, Daisy, and don't necessarily adjust your need for approval, because we are very, very social animals. We're the most social of the animals, are we? I don't know what meerkats are feeling inside. Who knows? Perhaps they really need one another. They look like they do, don't they? But like, But it seems that it's a natural thing to want one another's approval. Look, you don't come to this park normally, do you? When it's empty, you've come here to be with one another, to share a cultural experience, to deny the idea that you're an individual trapped temporarily in the frequency of entropic flesh that will decay, because you want to feel oneness and transcendence. So, no problem with that, mate. I can see you want even more approval. What do you want to say now?
We're good.
We're good. Well done. A round of applause for Daisy. Suck it up, Daisy. The sweet approval. Mainline it.
Hi, Grinnell, mate. That's
What a way to kick off.
Thank you. Yeah, so you gave an example of being kind to others, and that's a really nice approach. But how do you use like self-kindness and self-compassion as a way to overcome addiction?
Well, that's a very interesting question. What's your name, mate?
Shamash.
Shamash is saying, how do we use self-compassion? In a way, it's the same thing. Because I think perhaps deep down, the reason that I didn't feel very valued is possibly for, like, you know, common and identifiable psychoanalytic reasons about, like, my childhood. Not that my parents weren't brilliant in their way, but the way that I was brought up probably left me feeling a little bit of a deficit, and all of us have our narrative, and all of us have our stories, and all of us have that sense somehow that we're not good enough. I think it's a very, very common thing. But I think that when you do things for others, check this. I knew this bloke once. He'd come from a good family. And like, I remember thinking, and this shows you where I sit psychologically, I remember thinking about this guy, and he was a lovely bloke, Shane. I remember thinking, Shane is so connected to his brothers and sisters and his mum and dad, but if you just looked in his eyes and went, you fucking, like, and laid into him with the darkness, you know the darkness, that Shane would go, no, I'm not nothing, I'm not nobody, I'm part of that family that loves me. Whereas if you said that to me, I just go, yes, I know, confirmation received. Right? So, like, but as a result of doing this journey, as a result of working this program, like, another voice in my head that I have now nurtured, and there's very many voices in my head, about 19 even now, vying for the microphone. But there's another voice in my head that says now, no, Russell, remember you did that thing. You do those things for other people that's, you know, like, and sometimes I don't even want to do it. My first instinct was, will you come and help with this homeless charity? I think, fuck off, right? I don't want to do it because it's boring. Then I go, no, I will do it. And then I make myself do it. And, like, you know, listen, I know Christianity comes with a lot of problems, obviously the misogyny and all the other things that comes from books that were written thousands of years ago in a desert, in a different time, in a different culture, that didn't know how we were going to evolve and how we develop. But one of the seeds of truth in Christianity is, what was I saying?
About self-kindness.
About self-kindness.
Homeless charity.
Oh yeah, Christ, he says it's with the poor. It's with the poor. Like, you know, and like, I don't know if you ever do stuff like this. If you hang out properly with people that have got fuck all, and in a non-judgmental way, just help them, you start to feel this feeling that's really good. It's a really good feeling. Like, if instead of when you walk past a homeless person, it's probably your fault that you're homeless. I could never be homeless. It could never happen to me. And then step over them like they're a draft excluder. Like you'll feel a little bit of, oh, my guts! But if, like, instead you go, oh, right, mate, how's it going? Have a little bit of a chat, give them enough for a score. Who gives a, you know, don't worry if they're going to spend it on smack or not. It's probably the best thing for them under those conditions. Like, if you are, it can be non-judgmentally loving to people that can't do anything for you, you start to feel built up inside. Then, in my experience, the ego reclaims it, what I call, and what psychoanalysis calls, the ego would reclaim it, and I think, God, I'm nice. God, I was nice to that homeless guy then. Come with me, can we just act that out again in front of this woman? Because of our instinct to commodify, to materialise, to transact, to sell, as if there's something more where there is nothing more. They'll tell you, every mystical faith in the world, every religion in the world, there is only this moment, nothing else is real, your memory's not real. Even if you endured the most horrible abuse as a child, and my sympathy goes out to you if you did, it's not happening now. And we do have the power to change our narrative and to change our past. The future and our anxieties and fears about the future, it's not happening now. And if we attune to a frequency of our own potency and the energy that we all sit on, this vessel, this peculiar vessel that's been evolving for, well, at least, you know, a couple 100,000 years. I mean, like, you know, there's a lot going on in here. The thing that's running my heart, the thing that's running my organs, the thing that's making the blood run through my veins, the myriad thousands of things that are occurring in my anatomy now just for me to sit bobbing about on all of this activity, thinking the conscious mind is what runs things. Very foolish, not true at all. If you can get in touch with those forces, whatever you regard them to be, whether you believe in some pre-delineated idea idea of God or the absolute universe or oneness or nature or whatever. We are part of it. It's in us. And the way to get past that, I think, is by denying the idea of your selfish individuality by being kind to others as much as you can. And for me, always knowing that I will revert to selfishness because it's coded in me. But to know, see, like, look, this is how this book works. It's very simple, you know, you'll love it. Right? E.g., step one, are you a bit fucked? Yes, I don't want to drink so much coffee, I don't want to prove all the time. Step two, could you not be fucked? Oh, I suppose it's possible. It's possible. So this isn't, I've not reached the summit of human potential. I am not the Nietzschean Uberman, although Uberman now just means cab driver. All on the mic. Good joke. We'll make a record of that. That could be used again. That's a fucking t-shirt. Step three, are you on your own going to unfuck yourself? No, because your mind is the thing that got you in this situation and will always revert to its own habits. I mean, there is such a thing as neuroplasticity, and it is possible to change your consciousness, but you have to change it consciously. So, are you on your own going to unfuck yourself? The first step means you're going to need help. Human help and other types of help, in my opinion. Step four is where it gets a bit admin-y. Write down all the things that are fucking you up or have ever fucked you up, and don't lie or leave anything out. No one likes taking an inventory, but I've literally done it. I've done it twice in my life. Like things like when you're a little kid and someone, well, it was Glenn Dainty, pushed me over off that climbing frame. Like, I carried that around as a bit of code. See, it's not a choice between a program and no program. You've got a program. You've got the program given to you by your family and by your culture, and a culture that wants you to consume. So either you can leave that program in there, or you can have your own program. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. There's millions and millions of ways of doing it. And my man Jamie over there says every book is a self-help book. If you read, like, you know, Thomas Mann, it's going to help. You know what I mean? If you start delving about in literature, it will change the way you see the world. If you look at Dostoevsky, if you look at Herman Melville, they're talking about being conscious, being in the world. But all of us have a program. If certain men say certain things to me, I have certain reactions. Certain women look at me a certain way, I have certain reactions. If I see certain things on the TV, I have a reaction. Program, conditioning. So, like when you write it down and inventory it, you start to see the code. You see the lines of code in your own individual condition. Oh, of course I feel that way about men, because that happened to me when I was 5. Oh, of course I feel this way about women or social situations. Like, you know, now look at if our friend Daisy there was to delve about doing a step 4, we would discover that at some point, I'm guessing, Daisy, there was insufficient approval at a time where your development was vital. Either adolescence or early life. Likely male parent, no? No? There we go. All in one. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm like bloody Derren Brown now. I liked that. Even that, a little bit of the ego wants that, you see. Don't give it to the ego, Russ. Don't give it to the ego. Then, right, so step 4, you make a list of all those things. You only need 20 examples across your life, bad relationships, etc. Step 5, tell someone you can trust who's been through this before everything you have learned. You tell someone that you can trust. I've done that too. Made me feel a lot better. Step 6 is where you look at what this inventory has revealed. The times that you were jealous, the times that you were lustful, the times where you let anger get on top of you, the times where you're self-centered, and you make a commitment to change. You make a commitment to change. Being different is hard. It's hard to give up coffee. It's hard to give up heroin. Hard to give up being in relationships with people that don't treat you right, if that's all you've ever known. But you have to make a commitment to it, and then you have to live it one day at a time. Are you willing, step 7, to live in a new way that's not all about you and your previous fucked up stuff? You have to. Now that's just like making a contract to be different. Just like, I'm going to do this. Like, instead of just like, you know what it's like, you go, oh, I'm going on a diet, then you don't go on a diet. You buy a book about meditation, you don't read the book about meditation. Can't be bothered. But the 7 is you make a commitment. You make a commitment. 8 and 9 is you recognise that you've hurt people in the past. And like, part of my feelings, to answer your question, and by God it's a long answer, isn't it? Like, part of my thing of feeling bad is because I know I hurt people in the past. So I make a list of the people that I've harmed, and where appropriate I make amends to them. Where appropriate. Some people don't want to ever see me again. I can appreciate their sentiments. But like, if it's not going to cause any more harm, I apologise to them. 10, 11, 12, you keep the programme running and you recognise, see, in this moment I'm connected. Even though I'm in a situation where I'm showing off, I'm alright. I'm alright, you know? I don't need nothing from no one, I'm happy with things the way they are. But if something weird happened to me, if someone made me feel threatened, I'd have to realign. Step 11 means have a connection. How did I write it in this book? Because I've tried to make it deliberately secular so it didn't sound all wacky and religious for everyone. Stay connected to your new perspective. Because if you change your perspective, the world has changed. Step 12, look at life less selfishly. Be nice to everyone. Help people if you can. And for me, that's a massive transformation and a massive transition, because I was taught my life was about get stuff, get things for yourself, have power, dominate, fulfill the senses, get pleasure. But it ain't worked for me. But it's such a strong program, the program of selfishness and individualism and consumerism and hedonism, that I have to work on it on a daily basis. So that's how it works. And in that book, there's all proper like exercises you can fill in, it's how to do it and stuff. And mostly I describe how I feel, like what's going on in my head when some shit's happening to me. Like I'll be at some event or whatever, and in my head I'm like, oh no, this is happening now. I suppose I should answer that person. This has gone on for ages. You know, like that we live trapped in our own mind. You know, when Balzac was writing, we described the scenery. Nowadays, we describe the neurology, we describe the conscious activity, because we all live in the ubiquitous, unending consciousness, our own individualised consciousness. Any questions then? Yes, mate. Yeah, hat, sunglasses.
First of all, Russell, I would like to say thank you, because I stopped drinking 6 years ago. And
well done.
Thank you. And you were a large part of my sort of decision to stop. I thought, like, it's possible to do so. I thought if he can do it, I can do it. In the nicest possible way. I thought if he can give up smack, I can stop the cider. And the reason I was drinking so much was due to a large pressure to try and save the world.
Oh, really?
And I had a bit of a relapse about 3 months ago, for a couple of weeks, and it was due to basically a bona fide messiah complex. And I wanted to ask about your messiah complex tendencies and what sort of thoughts were going through your mind in that spiritual awakening time, and how it felt and what you were kind of feeling about saving the world, etc.
In a way, mate, what's your name again?
Tommy.
Alright, Tommy, it's really describing something important there, because I think when a person starts to recognise that the world's not going to work from the way it is, or if you start to, like some of you will probably take an ayahuasca and DMT and you've seen behind the screen, you've seen it, you've seen there's more to consciousness, there's more to life, there's more to reality. You've experienced it. And then most of us know it on an intuitive level, the things in your life that really make you happy. Think about what those things are. None of it can be bought or sold. So like when you have that realisation, Tommy, I think it's very natural for the ego to reclaim it so that you can live in an egoic space. You have to go, well, I must be really special, really powerful. I suffer from that quite badly, this is obvious. But what I recognise is that it's not real. And that you can't have, like, you know that Yanis Varoufakis dude? He's clever as fuck, man. Like he was a chancellor for Greece in the brief window where Syriza took over for a moment before normal service was resumed. And like, he said, we only exist in dialectic. Like, there is no such thing as an individual human being. And Jarvis Cocker said, without people, we're nothing. Like, what are we without one another? So for me, it's like letting go of my narcissistic, individualistic, like, that tendency will always exist. I'm not like, you know, I mean, I'm happy to be the person that sat up here talking. It's part of who I am. But like I was saying to Daisy there, if I can find a way of using this in a valuable way that doesn't hurt other people and possibly, please God, helps people, then that's good. I'm always going to be flavoured a little bit by narcissism. I was grown in it. I was grown in vanity, egotism, materialism, individualism. We don't know it because it's so extreme. We live in a fundamentalist culture. Because its boundaries lie beyond our horizon, we can't see that we're in it. You can't see that you're in an extremist, consumerist situation where you identify as a consumer, because that's the language that you've learned. That's our scope. There is no Rosetta Stone to decode our conditioning, except for the journey within. Now, you'll naturally feel there's messianic tendencies. That's why it's important to do these things, as Yanis Varoufakis said, in dialectic, which just means in conversation. We exist in conversation. We exist in communion. If I was on in the tent on my own doing this, what am I? Mentally ill. And possibly I still am. But, like, at least I get to talk to you in that hat and those sunglasses. Stand up, Tommy, so people can see what I see. A glorious human being who has reclaimed himself. And I made that decision even before I saw the tail. There was a coda, there was a punchline. He had, I believe it's a Cheshire Cat tail from Walt Disney's version of Alice in Wonderland, I think, if I know my...
Absolutely correct.
Thank you, I know my semiotics. Who else?
Yes.
Yes, my dear Australian midwife friend.
Yes. An Aboriginal.
Oh, right, stands up, old school, like the 60s. Sorry for being prejudicial then.
Yes.
Go on, mate.
Aboriginal elders told me in Central Desert a year before it happened about September the 11th. It said S11 is a good day to call the world's attention to the domination of the money god. What can you say about our addiction to the domination of the money framework that we live in this world today? And how can we come home free, standing up and be counted, wear your heart on your sleeve and claim I'm here for love?
Well, one of the things I do is I'd ask people that have been around longer than me who have answers to that. I mean, it's clear that from you know one of them questions where you know that the person sort of knows the answer. What do you think we should do?
I feel it's time to recognise who we really are, your true nature, and have the courage and wisdom to live by that. Are we a bunch of thoughts? Are we a money machine? Or are we, as Pierre Teilhard said, are we a divine being having a human experience?
Oh, I like that. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like time to stand up and be counted, wear your heart on your sleeve and claim I'm here for love. And let us not be tempted by fear or by greed. And let us not be tempted by shame or by need to allow or by, with, for or against terror and any other name. Let us rise up and sing our song of love. And if necessary, do our dance all the way to the government halls of apparent power and demand a creative use of our country's resources. No uranium mining, no weapons of war, and no dependence on non-renewable energy sources so that we have a home on this beautiful earth where we can learn the lessons of this human birth and give thanks for life on earth. This is love.
Yes! Beautiful. I think I was going to answer that question. In the transcripts, just say I said that. That's easier. That's easier. It just confused people, just so I said. Well done, that's very beautiful, thank you. Yes, mate, flowers in your hair.
My name's Michelle and I'm a recovering alcoholic addict.
Alright, Michelle.
And I've been sober 11 years.
Well done.
You know, that the 12-step program works, you know, because I can stop drinking and use it. And, oh, I don't think I need this, but... And, you know, I couldn't stop drinking and doing drugs. And, you know, I was in that place probably where you was. And I'm just so grateful to be alive today, you know, and to be here. And I'm still doing mad things, you know. I'm
Clearly.
Still a bit scatty. Still a bit bloody scatty. But you know what, I'm clean and sober. And I'm not hurting no one today, you know. I've probably done things like you did. Not that I know what you did, but I can imagine.
Thank God.
Yeah. And yeah, so I just want to say, you know, anyone out there that wants to get clean and sober, you know, it really does work. And the 12-step program. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thanks a lot. Cheers, Michelle. I like what you said about gratitude then, mate. What you said about gratitude was important. Very basic, important principles. Yes, you there with your one single finger. Yeah, you point at yourself.
Is there a way that you can help someone who is in a state of denial?
The question was, can you help someone that's in a state of denial? The simple question is, not really. Not until they're, because like my personal belief is that the individual that needs to change needs to engage themselves, because the first thing you need is that aperture or that connection that is their vulnerability. For me, when I started on the journey of change, it was despair that led to it, like, oh, this isn't working no more. Now, I did have real help. People, strong people got involved. Some of them were already recovering addicts, others were people that I was working with. But like, for me, it turned out that they were kind of parental figures that went, you're getting clean, and it really helped me. So, like, actually though, it's counterintuitive that I'm guessing you love someone that's an addict of some kind. So like, what generally you do in that situation, mate, is really hard. It's counterintuitive. You've got to stop giving them money, you've got to stop helping them, all sorts of stuff that seems like nasty when you're doing it. But you have to, all you can do is, here's a simple analogy, like if you're throwing a tennis ball against a wall, it always, you know, it bounces back roughly the same sort of trajectory. If you swap that wall out and put in, like, I don't know, like sort of foam, the ball will bounce in a different way. I use this analogy to say that if you change the way you treat somebody, that person's behaviour will alter. The relationship necessarily alters. And we sometimes unconsciously facilitate other people's addiction. It's called enabling. It's the word for it. It's like letting them have money, not making them confront it and stuff. So personally, what I would suggest in this instance, if it's someone's very close to you and it's affecting you, is work on yourself. And work and hope that they find their way, because they will. Not everybody does. I've had people very close to me that I loved a great deal that didn't get it, that were proper out there with the drugs, and I blame myself. I blame myself for their deaths. But I recognise that in spite of what I occasionally think, referring to Tommy's point, I am not Jesus. I can't do nothing. If people don't want help, I can't help. So if someone goes, Russell, help me, I need this, then I'm like, cool, let's go. But I can only help them with this system. And if they don't want the system, I'll help people to change, but I will not help people stay the same. I will not facilitate people's continuing ignorance and consciousness. And this, I think, is a good model, mate. Lady there with a sort of bindi thing on. There's amplification coming from every direction.
I come from a family with a history of addiction, narcotics and alcohol. And I drink, I have done drugs, but I think I've always been very scared of that, and I have always refrained from testing my own limits. My question is, do you think addiction is hereditary? And if it is, like, how do you stop it? Is it genetically hereditary, or is it just something that you pass on?
I don't know, and in a sense, I don't mean to be dismissive, but I'm not sure that it matters. Like when I look around my family, I sometimes think I see evidence of addictive tendencies, but in a way, it doesn't matter, because I think it is a broadly social thing. It's certainly exacerbated by social conditions, but I've seen people from every imaginable background suffering from the disease of addiction. Some of their families are, some ain't, some of them rich, some of them poor. Definitely it don't help being a smackhead if you're dirt poor and you're criminalised anyway, there's no question about that. But what I'm saying is that we should focus on the solution. Now, if you can like happily drink and take drugs and you're not ruining your life or anybody else's, there's not a problem. If you start to sense that what you're looking for is a deeper sense of connection and a more potent connection to other people and a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, a sense of change, then look at this stuff. Don't worry though, don't be afraid, because it don't necessarily mean that, you know, it's not 100% exact thing, that hereditary argument. Nice one, mate. Yeah, man over there, flat cap and glasses, you want me to wrap up? How long have I been talking it? I'd literally do this forever. I'd be when I sort of went unconscious, like that. I'd let someone slyly bang me up, a little bit of caffeine. Right, so this is a man in glasses and cap at the back.
Hello mate, you're right. Mate. Social media. Like some of the things that you talked about here, it's something you can, get a track, train your mind on. And in this thing, that I don't know if the lovely lady who spoke so beautifully before has social media, but it distracts our minds so clearly all the time for things that we want. And I wonder how you deal with it, because obviously you use it, for various uses.
I find social media really, really difficult, because if you're like a self-interested person, as I obviously am, like you can sort of look and pick and get involved and think, oh, they're saying this about me, but nothing good ever comes from it for me, to tell you the truth. I look at like Twitter, I don't ever walk away from it feeling any better than when I went to it, to be honest. So I think that you can legitimately refer to it as a form of addiction, social media, by using that definition. Something you're doing too much, it's not helping you, and when you try and stop it, you can't stop it. If those criteria are met, if it's causing you pain, then it qualifies as addiction. And I would say that the system that I've just outlined, the program that I've just described, would work as well with that as anything else. Now, with this caveat, with things that are necessary, e.g. food and sex, the program does alter, because abstinence, I 1 day at a time don't drink, don't take drugs. Please God, I will be having sex again one day, but you'll have to ask my girlfriend, she's in charge. But and like with food, I'm going to eat food, right? But like there are programs that allow you to formulate your own relationship with phenomena with which you are going to engage with to a degree. These ideas already exist, and I think they're universally applicable. I think that they will change a lot of individuals, and I think that if we change as individuals, there's an inevitability to the world changing. Now, I sometimes think that's a deep thing to say, till I remember where I got it from. If you can change, and I can change, maybe the whole damn world can change. That's Rocky IV. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you for your great contributions. I love you. Cheers. Stay in touch. Stay tuned. Thank you. Nice one.